Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Arnold versus Chris Bumstead. Now, how did this begin? I was watching RX Muscle, of course, one of my favorite bodybuilding YouTube channels. And they did a video, Arnold versus Bumstead. But there was never any picture comparisons, of course. It was just one question among many. It was a longer video. Anyway, I love the channel, but there was no picture comparisons. Anybody was interested, then here we go. We have it. So for anybody that was going to type this in, hopefully they stumbled upon this and you guys get to see this picture comparison. And it is plain to see that Arnold would destroy Bumstead as far as the size and pretty much everything else is concerned. Because Dave Palumbo did say Arnold would more than likely destroy him. But anyway, let's skip the symmetry round. We don't have no sides or rear relaxed of both men. The front double bicep pose, which is definitely Arnold's pose to win, for sure. I'm surprised Big Arnie here, his legs are more than doing his share, but do you notice how long they are? This is like the Nathan Diasha versus Patrick Moore match. It's a short torso for Arnold, not that short, but he has long legs for sure, and short little hooves for Bumstead there, and a long torso, a la Nathan Diasha. I don't like using this one of Arnold. It looks like he's in some hall or something, and they did a lot of their prejudging in the morning in weird little rooms and stuff. In one case in 1972, or yes, 72, they didn't even know where to do it, and Arnold suggested, let's just do it in this room here, because he figured the lighting or the background favored him. I like this one here better. Arnold, no matter how you slice this one of the best and hardest to beat in this pose as well. Look at the conditioning of Arnold. Right there with Bumstead. Poor Chris has no answer to Arnold. Of course, the front lat spread is a good Chris Bumstead pose, for sure. The angle is favoring Arnold a little bit here, but not that much. I mean, Arnold's front lat spread, it was a tough pose. Arnold packed with good poses. Very tough man to beat on this bodybuilding stage, and this slaughtering is proving this. He is holding his legs too straight here, and it's taking from the size. I believe he does have bigger legs than would this picture would have you believe. Bumstead's legs look fantastic. This is a good pose, mind you, for Chris. Just not good enough, I don't think. The side chest really displays the differences of these guys, the skeletal makeup of these guys. The skeleton, for goodness sakes. I'm not a doctor. There's a bunch of bones in the human body. I'm not sure exactly how many. There's a femur, a thigh, the human thigh bone, and Arnold's is twice as long as Chris Bumstead's. But Chris's spinal column is probably twice as long as Arnold's. But they end up being around the same height. Arnold, just unbelievable in this pose. Bumstead able to box with him, though. This is a dandy of a pose for Chris. Not enough, though. Arnold is winning because he has a bigger, thicker pec, and it is a side chest pose. The quad development on Arnold is massive. It is elongated, very elongated, and it looks smaller than it really is. If you take a good look, Arnold did have a good sized leg. Anyway, Arnold takes a slight point here, believe it or not. It's always very awkward when we reach the side tricep when Arnold has a matchup. I always have to use this one. It's a photo shoot. He never hit the shot, and that's frustrating enough. His legs much smaller here than in that previous picture, I believe was from 71 or 74. Both of those years, his legs were just massive. This is in the 60s, I believe, judging by that boyish face of his. Very young. And it's so frustrating because, look, this is a good pose. Arnold's tricep is almost enough to defeat Chris Bumstead. But good old Bum, his conditioning is top plus. It's almost a toss-up here in this one. But it's hard to say. I sure wish Arnold had a 1974 version of this exact same pose. Ah, yes, the first and only back shot. They don't have the rear lat spread, of course. In classical physique, Arnold, look at the size of him. He is a much bigger man. Chris Bumstead, he has a pin head. It's a very elongated neck and head. So that adds some height right there. So his shoulder height is not as great as the Oak's. Because Oak, he doesn't have that pin head. Plus, he is a little bit taller than Chris Bumstead. So altogether, judging from this back shot, he is the Oak. Wow. Chris, sure, he has some striations in the hamstrings and the quads. Well, not the quads, but the glutes. Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Arnold's back is awesome. Just flattening. And I mean flattening. Chris Bumstead's taking him to school, to old school. The angle of the shot here taken for Arnold, it's so different than Chris Bumstead's that you can't really gauge the silhouettes of these two. But I would wager to say Chris Bumstead might even get Arnold in this. He has the striations in the thigh. He looks more aesthetic, actually. And that's funny because Arnold's a classical bodybuilder. Bumstead is a modern-day classical bodybuilder. Either way, it is good to see Bumstead get at least 1 point, and it is in a classical shot, so kudos to Chris. Schwarzenegger will be putting one final explanation point on this little competition with this most muscular. The 1974 Oak was thick, big, striated. Wow, hard to beat. Impossible to beat for Chris Bumstead, at least in this pose. Chris looks scrawny in comparison. Anyway, this was a nice little matchup. Good to see the Oak more than holding his own against a modern-day competitor, whether he is a classical physique competitor or not. It is a notch in Arnold's belt, another one. He's defeated a lot of guys on this channel with many, many comparisons. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And this is actually a nice little comparison here. I don't know what you would call it, the Hoopalawa pose or the Jacqueline lean. I like it. It's a bow and arrow thrust. It's a good one. Hit a thumbs up if you enjoyed the lackluster commentary. And I didn't spaz out this time, so kudos to me. Have a great day, guys.